Welcome, everybody, to the season 4 of the Lunch Table Podcast. We're so happy to be bringing you guys more content from the world of entertainment news. And to start off our new season of It Just Makes Sense that we would cover the biggest event in the fandom community, San Diego Comic-Con, which I hope one day we'll be able to live stream and give you guys our reactions. But yeah, we haven't done a news discussion in a long time, and there's a lot of great movies and shows coming out by the end of this year and next year as well. So, without further ado, Akram, how are you, my friend? How did you receive San Diego Comic-Con?
Oh, I loved it, and I'm great just because of that. And welcome everybody to season 4. I hope you stick with us because we have a lot to unpack. Right off the bat, actually, I think the most emotional thing that was released was the trailer for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. So, what were your takes on it?
Yeah, dude, it was a heavy trailer. Just because of the depth behind it. Obviously, Chadwick won't be here to experience this amazing film with us. But I really have good hopes for this film. Ryan Coogler's back to direct, and I trust him so much after what he did with the first film. But yeah, there's a lot to unpack from this trailer. We didn't see much, well, at least as far as like what the premise is, but we did see a lot of things. Like we saw Namor, his debut in the MCU. The supporting cast, obviously, like Angela Bassett as Black Panther's mother, Shuri, Nakia, Okoye, of course. Daniel Kaluuya won't be returning for this film because he had scheduling conflicts with Nope. So it'll be a shame because I did like his character. But yeah, a lot of interesting things to talk about. So what did you receive from this trailer?
Yeah, it was, again, it was very emotional, very powerful, as it should be. From what I've seen, it kind of looks like they're doing some sort of funeral. We did see some murals graffitied on the wall. It reminds me a lot of Tony Stark. I wonder if they're going to do something where T'Challa, after the snap, he just never came back. And that's like how they're going to explain the death. I don't think they're going to recast because at the most notable part from the trailer was Namor, and we also see Black Panther. And we were having a little debate before, like who will play Black Panther. It could really be anybody, and you were making great points earlier, saying that Marvel can deceive people through trailer editing.
Yeah, I wouldn't totally trust the trailers sometimes because they have a tendency to mislead us. Like obviously with Spider-Man No Way Home and other trailers as well. But yeah, we did see the costume at the end. You had some theories that it might be M'Baku.
Mm-hmm.
I had some theories as well. For me, it would be weird, but it's a possibility it could be Killmonger. I don't know how they would do it. But I wouldn't denounce the possibility. I really think it's gonna be Okoye. I feel like she's stepped up as a leader in the Wakandan society, and I feel like it's her time to break out of that shell. Because she's such a natural leader as well. So I have a feeling that she might be a candidate. But what do you feel?
It's a hard one because Black Panther is such an important role for young Black kids, and I wonder, would it change the meaning of how this character inspires people depending on gender? I don't think much, but I think in the comics, Black Panther represented, and it's kind of like Jon Stewart from Green Lantern. Like he was one of the first Black superheroes, and it represented something because he was a man. And obviously police brutality at that time. So I wonder, it's a heavy one. I don't know. It's really hard. It's funny. I kind of consider it kind of like a presidential election, but it's more of a symbolic election here. I think Okoye makes sense. I think she's really popular. I thought at first it was going to be Shuri, but I heard that Letitia Wright. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because the comics, I heard that there was some issues with Letitia Wright during the filming of Wakanda Forever, so I don't know if Marvel really wants to deal with that consistently. Okoye to me makes sense. Nakia kind of makes sense as well. Why I say M'Baku is because if Daniel Kaluuya is gone, which we don't really know. Again, maybe he's not. I don't know. I just find it'll be really difficult to introduce a new character, a new actor. It's a heavy movie. Again, you have an actor who everyone loves that died in such an iconic role, and now you're introducing a new actor, and it's really heavy for that actor to kind of fill the shoes of Black Panther. So I don't really know. Killmonger is an interesting one. This is the time of the multiverse. I don't know. It'll be kind of different to pull off. There's like a lot of things at play just to pull that off. So I don't really know. Unless like he slumps and people think he's dead, but like he actually didn't die.
Right.
He just like somehow comes back.
He faked his death
Um,
or some shit. But also, what
yeah.
did you think about seeing Ironheart in this trailer?
Oh, I found that so beautiful because they showed a scene where like she was hammering away at something. And like I don't think she's gonna be the predecessor of Iron Man because she's always been kind of like this fan. But you know, she's her own person. I think if anything, I can't wait for like a type of relationship between Rhodey and Riri. I think that's gonna be really cute. I've seen some leaked images as well, like her little prototype suit, and I think it's awesome. So I like seeing her here. I wonder what she's doing in Wakanda though. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's a fascinating thing to think about.
What do you think
But yeah,
about Namor actually?
Namor is like I don't know because like he's one of the first. I think actually he is the first Marvel character that we ever
Yeah.
see in chronologically.
Yeah.
I thought his costume was all right. It's very like Aztec inspired. It could
Mhm.
make sense. I kept thinking about the callbacks to when Claw was talking about how they were originally trying to find what was it? They were trying to find Wakanda, but they were looking in South America. So it's just interesting, like those parallels. So it's like these two great like ancient civilizations like coming together and like clashing. Black Panther and Namor do have like beef in the comics. I've always said like Namor is kind of like the Logan Paul of the Marvel universe because he has
Yeah.
beef with everybody. But I think the casting choice was all right. Yeah, I wonder like what's the stakes here. It did look like Wakanda was getting like flooded in certain scenes,
Mm.
so like it makes me think like does he have like command of like the seas? And also I don't know, it felt very like I don't know, I felt like I was watching the new Avatar trailer too because we saw the
Yeah.
Atlanteans and they kind of like look like the Navi too, but I think they are like
Yeah.
kind of bluish in the comics too. But what did you think about like seeing them?
Well, Namor is one of the first mutants, I guess, chronologically speaking in the MCU, because Namor is a mutant. So now you have obviously Miss Marvel. So I think he's a very important character to reoccur later on in the MCU. I think that's the direction they're going to go to. We're going to talk about the lineup as well. We haven't seen really any X Men properties yet, but you know it's probably going to be introduced, live action at least. I think he's cool. I don't know much about Tana Huerta, but I think you know I trust the casting for MCU, and I think he's probably going to nail it. I heard he had to learn an Aztec language. I think it's an interesting redesign as well. I've seen some leaked images like promo art for Namor, and it definitely looks a lot like Aztec. It's a really interesting redesign. I can't wait to see like one day maybe he'll don the black like diving suit or whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah, I it's kind of like the Atlantean situation with Aquaman. Remember when it was like the Atlantis fighting the humans or something like that? I wonder if that's the same situation they're gonna pull.
Hmm.
But I think it's not gonna be Black Panther versus Namor. I think at first there's gonna be some turmoil, but I think there's a bigger threat, and I wonder who that bigger threat will be. So we don't
Hmm.
have any info on that yet. But all in all, very emotional. The trailer. I think it's one of my favorite MCU movie trailers. There's a lot to unpack in that trailer. You know.
It's one of the first. Well, it's a movie now that kind of has a lot of emotional and like weight to it because of Chadwick because he was such a great performance and legendary actor, I would say. So
Hmm.
the loss of him, I think, will just add so much to this movie, whether you like it or not. I think it'll be an experience. Um, do you feel like this? Because we were talking earlier. Do you think this takes place like after Endgame or after Infinity War? Because I have a feeling the way they set this up is because he got snapped and they're trying to recover Wakanda in that 5 year time period. That could make sense for a premise, or do you feel differently?
I think we see some. I think that's valid. I think anything really. I really think they're gonna try to tie it on this external force of what's happening with Wakanda. As for Chadwick, like or T'Challa disappearing, it could be about the snap. I think that's the easiest thing because then now you have Thanos taking out basically three icons. So I could imagine seeing like a poster like all over the MCU of like the three. It's kind of like the Trinity of the DC universe. Um, so I could see it. It's complicated. I don't know because we haven't heard any mentions of Wakanda really in live action properties after Endgame, at least to my knowledge. So I'm not really sure. Yeah, it's hard to say. It's like that little black hole just because of the passing of Chadwick. But it also gives them opportunity of like having a lot of leeway to do different things and to make something very compelling, but also something that makes sense, and that's important because you're gonna
Mhm.
cast a new Black Panther too. So yeah, I don't know.
Exactly. And when will this be releasing? I believe end of this year, correct?
Yeah, I believe it's November. Actually, it's gonna the November timeline, so like November 11th or something. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
and that will
pretty
close
soon.
out phase 4 of the MCU,
Yes,
correct?
finally. Yes. And boy oh boy have they planned. We never seen Kevin Feige unveil things for two phases. This time we actually got two phases. We got 5 and 6. We're all going to be a lot older by the time 6 comes around, so I guess we should just probably talk about the timeline coming up from the unveiling. So the first
Yeah,
thing actually,
a lot of great content.
yeah.
Well, I guess we should talk about the next biggest thing was Quantumania,
Yes, that's what I was going to
Ant
say. Yeah.
Man. So yeah,
Yeah.
what did you think? Because there were like leaks of the trailer. We were just watching it before recording, and we see Kang. He's gonna be the
Yeah.
main antagonist of this movie. Um,
Yep.
I have some theories. I have a feeling this is not gonna be the Kang from Loki. I have a feeling this is gonna
Mm.
be a variant. But what are your predictions?
Yeah, for sure. I wonder if this is going to tie in at all to Loki, or we'll probably see Sylvie or something like that. I think that'll be really interesting if we do. I don't know that TVA will be involved, but yeah, I think that again, it's all chaos after what Sylvie did, and I think I'm confused because I don't really expect like Ant-Man to go toe to toe with Kang. I never really expected that. I thought it was going to be some other hero. So it's really weird and interesting to see some promo art from Andy Park showcasing Cassie Lang, played by Catherine Newton,
Hmm.
donning the suit of Stinger, now another Ant-Man family character. So yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot there in the quantum realm. I guess he has his own kingdom, and I guess that's going to lead up to a future Avengers film that we'll talk about a little bit later. But what are your thoughts?
Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting because I never figured Kang was a Ant-Man villain. I always figured he was more of like a
Mm.
Fantastic Four, like an Avengers level threat.
Hmm.
Um, this is interesting. I think this is gonna be a tie-in directly to the new Avengers film, which is Kang Dynasty. Um,
Hmm.
but it's interesting that they're raising the stakes so high because I feel like Ant-Man for the most part has been like a very like street level hero, like almost like Spider-Man because like the threats he faces in his movies aren't like totally like this. Like he went from Yellow Jacket to like Kang in the span of 3 movies. So
Right.
it's interesting that they raised the stakes so high. Um, yeah, I think this will definitely be different from Loki. I think the effects of Loki are definitely bleeding into all the other properties now, which we'll see with Kang Dynasty, obviously. Um, I did like seeing like Cassie. I think her costume was like, very loyal to the comics too, with her like very purple outfit. But yeah, I can't wait for that movie. That'll be coming out in February 17th of next year, correct?
Yes.
So can't
2023.
wait for
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
But
Same.
moving on, we also have another big event coming. If you want to take this one, Secret Invasion.
Yeah, Secret Invasion. Still not too much info, but we did get an update on the logo, which I always love when Marvel changes some stuff up. From what I can tell, obviously it's going to be a lot like involving scrolls. I wonder how it's going to play into the Marvels because that's relatively close to the release of this as well. But I think they did show a trailer, but again, a lot of things are behind closed doors, so we didn't get a lot of info. I think people were talking about mostly like different things. But what do you think of what's going to happen in Secret Invasion? At least we could still speculate.
I've heard rumors. I heard rumors that there was gonna be like a faction of the scrolls that we see in Captain Marvel because the
Mm,
scrolls in this universe are working closely with Sword and Nick Fury. But that doesn't mean they're all good, right? It's just like humans. Like
right.
humans have good people and bad people. So it could make sense that the scrolls have like different factions of their world too. And it could also we could also get introduced to Super Skrull, who's like a big like Fantastic Four villain. So it could be
Right.
interesting for that. I think that will be a great event leading into Thunderbolts because that's also like a big event that happened in the comics as well. Um, I hope it doesn't get too cheesy at times because they tend to like I don't know make these like very dark chapters of Marvel kind of like diluted in a way. Because the scroll
Hmm.
event was huge in the comics, like it affected everybody. Um, and that
Yeah.
I had theories before that the Marvels will be directly involved in this too, because you know Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau have like cosmic affairs in the MCU. But yeah, tell me
Yeah.
what you think about it.
I think, well, it's gonna be weird because if it directly affects the Marvels, I heard the Marvels is a musical now, which I just hate that idea. Copying off of Joker, I guess, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later. For Secret Invasion, I think it's going to be heavily influenced by like these espionage type movies, kind of like even Winter Soldier was very espionage. So I think it's going to be a lot like that, and I think that's going to make it more of a thriller. And I like a lot of shows and movies are kind of like thrillers in their own rights, but I think this is gonna be more grounded rather than something like that's like huge all the time. Of course, the MCU has like a lot of comedic moments, but I think Secret Invasion is gonna make you feel nervous, like you can't trust nobody,
Hmm.
and it reminds me of that thing in Winter Soldier where it's like, you know, some agents were Hydra, right? So I think it's the same thing. It's going to be even worse. Like, who can you actually trust? And I think we're going to have a lot of surprises along the way of who actually was a Skrull all this time. But
Great
that
points.
that being said, let's move right to which we're going to do a review pretty soon in August 5th of I Am Groot, or I believe it's August 10th or August 5th of I Am Groot. So I can't wait to do that, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, a lot of people have been talking about this. This might be a dour one because people are probably going to die, but that's going to release on May 5th, 2023. So I just want to know your thoughts on the little leak trailer and in
Yeah,
general.
well, I actually didn't watch the trailer, but I heard a lot of
Oh,
stuff that happened in it. I
yeah.
forget the actor's name, but the dude from
Dave Bautista.
We're the Millers, he was playing Adam Warlock. Is
Oh
in it.
yeah, I forgot. Fuck, I can't forgot his name too. He was in Dope Sick actually
I
on
know.
Hulu. It's
I
a
was
great
afraid his
show.
name.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
so I think they actually changed the logo for it too, because I remember it was like more like funky, but now it's kind of like more goldish to represent Adam Warlock. I
Mm.
know a lot of people were complaining that he wasn't in Endgame because he actually is in the comics. He's a big part of Infinity War, like with Thanos and stuff. And I think he has actually the cousin of Thanos, or I think he's his brother or something. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, this looks interesting. Yeah, it'll be sad to see. I wonder if we'll see Gamora for this one because she did kind of like bounce at the end of Endgame. And also this might tie in directly after Thor: Love and Thunder because we did see them like fly off into the sunset and have
Oh yeah,
these fun adventures too.
right.
Um, and I kind of wonder like what we'll get for the soundtrack, like if we're gonna go like more like late 80s, early 90s, like because he did kind of get that Zune thing.
Uh
So
huh.
mad like he never got like an iPod or something at the end of Endgame or something, you know.
Yeah.
He could have like had so much like access to all the all these different songs, but yeah, tell me what you think we'll see and how this will also tie in with I Am Groot.
I think I Am Groot is a prequel because Groot's a teenager now. So I think this is like a prequel of like when Groot. It's, you know, it's not really canonical. That's what John Gunn or James Gunn said. It's not canonical, but I still think like there's some canonical elements. So it's probably a prequel. But I think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will not only tie some loose ends with the Infinity Saga, because if you have Adam Warlock, now it's your golden opportunity to kind of like tie all loose ends. So we probably won't hear about the Infinity Stones or Thanos for a long time because of this movie. And I think it's mainly in part because Adam Warlock will take over, like maybe find some new Infinity Stone or something like that, and like he'll be like the guardian of it. Um, but I also think some characters will die, as James Gunn said. So I think probably Dave Batista. I know that Dave Batista had some issues now with Marvel. So I think that whenever they have issues, they kind of want to get, you know,
Hmm.
kick him away. And also like it could either be Rocket that will die, which I don't want him to die. I don't want anyone to die, but I got a big feeling um, Drax will die because like
Mm,
he's gonna probably say like now I could see my family again or something.
mhm.
So it kind of makes sense. I think Gamora is gonna play a big part too. Um, I wonder what's this. I like Chris Pratt's like under fire. Like I don't really agree with some of the reasons why he's under fire, but I don't know if they really want to work with him either anymore. I'm gonna miss him. And again, this is the last Guardians of the Galaxy
It's the
movie.
last movie, so they can pretty much, go out with a bang.
Yeah,
But yeah, I hope everybody returns. Obviously, Karen Gillan is Nebula. We saw,
right.
and of course, Sean Gunn. He got the fin, that we saw in
Oh
Thor.
yeah,
So he has the arrow. I wonder if we'll see like the
right.
origins of like Rocket. Like if we'll see like his creator. I think there were rumors about that too.
In the trailer, yeah,
Hmm.
they showed the first of all, if you guys haven't seen the leaked trailer, go on YouTube. It's only like 20 seconds or something, but the song was amazing. It's so emotional as well. So like someone's going to die and they show Baby Rocket. It was either Baby Rocket or it was like his mother. It was like weird. Somebody grabbing Rocket. I think this is going to like cut deep. I think this movie is really going to cut deep and like it's going to be very emotional and show a lot of backstory. And I think that's what it is. And it's going to lead to like it's rather than it showing something else for the future, it's going to tie all loose ends for like the Infinity Saga. And I think,
Hmm.
now's the age of the multiverse and then Kang. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on then, I guess.
Yeah, expanding from that, well, going from cosmic back to more earthly affairs, I guess.
Yeah.
So at the end of Hawkeye, we got the character of Maya, who plays Echo, and we had like a little open-ended cliffhanger at the end where she allegedly killed Kingpin. Um,
Hmm.
but now she's getting her own spin-off series, and there are speculations that we may get Daredevil involved in this as well as She-Hulk. Um, yeah, it's an interesting concept. I really feel like all these shows are like branching out. Like you start one show, it's like a domino effect. One show creates another show, and it's like it just goes on and on and on. I don't know how much you could do with Echo. I'm not like too familiar with her character other than what we saw in Hawkeye. But what do you feel we'll see for this show?
I think that the character was underwhelming, to be honest with you, in Hawkeye. And by the way, guys, we reviewed Hawkeye season 1, so check out our playlist. I think that was a part of our season 2, so OG days. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of. I like the actress, but I'm just not a big fan of the character. I know that in the comic book, she basically blinded Kingpin, so I don't think he'll stay blind because I don't know if that guy was juicing because in Hawkeye he was like strong as
It
shit,
was
right?
like
So
flipping cars and shit or something. He was like crashing through walls and shit. I was like, holy shit!
you tried to kill Vanessa. I
Must have
think
took
that
10V or some shit out, or like 10V.
yeah, well probably like the super soldier serum, I think that he had like some form of it in his blood and I think that he's probably going to heal from whatever Maya did to him. I think that it makes sense to have Daredevil included. Perhaps even I mean I don't know, this is a far shot, but what if Punisher is like included? I think they kind of have like an
That
inclusion
would be crazy if
of
they did
Punisher
that.
in the comics.
If they brought Bronco
Ooh,
back,
that'll be great.
holy shit! I'll watch the shit out
Ooh.
of it.
Holy shit. Yeah, because there's a lot of Daredevil lately. I mean, we have No Way Home. We also have, we'll talk about a little bit later, something that we're going to review actually in August, pretty soon. And we do see a little snippet of Daredevil. And he also has his own show. So I think Echo will be like a great point to kind of catch up on where's Matt's life, like how is it,
Hmm.
not much to say on that. I don't know. I feel like it's not going to be like the greatest of the greatest show. She's an obscure character, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I could
Like
see
I
her
don't know.
I could see her being like a character that gets involved with other heroes, like maybe like She-Hulk. She makes an appearance or something.
True,
Because
true,
the MCU now is expanding. Like I've said, like it's becoming more comic booky now. It's not like we have to
right.
like give everybody like a fleshed out story. Now we can kind of just like throw characters from the comics directly into these storylines. So I have a feeling that Echo's gonna explore more of the Marvel universe that's kind of been built up until now. Like maybe we see like different heroes and villains that are kind of like maybe like B or C listers. It could be interesting. I could see a lot of potential for the show. But we'll just have to wait. I don't know if they gave a
Yeah,
release date for that. They said summer of next year.
right.
So just stay tuned, guys. We'll give you more updates when we get more information about that. But moving on, We also have, moving closer to the summer of next year, we have Loki season 2 was announced.
Oh,
So we were just talking about Kang, and I
right.
loved the first season of Loki. It was a great show. Um, Glad to see Hiddleston back. He transformed his character completely 180 from a villain to a hero, or at least like a sympathetic character. So Akram, how do you feel this show will turn out, or for season 2?
Hi, I am so excited. I think, yeah, it's What If that has season two, and it's Loki. Other shows don't really like, they're not confirmed to have season two, so this is
Yeah,
great.
WandaVision
I
didn't get season
Loki's
2.
right. Loki, I've been saying this before, and I think we both agree since when we actually reviewed, I think the season premiere and the season finale of Loki back in season one when we first started. Loki to me is one of the most, at least the show, one of the most important MCU property to date. Um, Endgame was important, but Loki introduced something, right, that allowed Andrew Garfield to be involved, that allowed Tobey Maguire to be involved, to allow perhaps, like you said, you talked about
Charlie Cox or
Michael B. Jordan
or Michael B.
being
Jordan.
Black Panther.
Mhm.
It it's so important, right? And I wonder if anything will be resolved in season two of Loki, because I know that the Kang Dynasty is coming in phase 6. So I doubt that something will be resolved. But I for sure think it'll introduce other elements of gods, kind of like Thor, Love and Thunder had those little Easter eggs. But tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, well, we when we last left Loki, he was back in the TVA, and it was kind of like a messed up timeline. Mobius didn't know who he was, so this is a completely different
Mm,
timeline now. Um, Sylvie allegedly killed Kang, or like that version of Kang, and then set off the events. Um, but the multiverse still confuses me as far as this show, because I don't know if it's like directly related to Doctor Strange version of the multiverse, like how that affects it. I was just thinking, would have been so interesting if we saw like America Chavez, like in this show, because she can travel like through like
I could see that.
multiverses.
That-
Because she's training
That's true.
with the sorcerers, right? Um,
Right.
for this season, I don't know. It's like there's so much they could do. Also, I forgot about what was the judge lady that was kind of
Oh,
like
yeah.
messing with the timeline too. Um, so
Right.
there's a lot. I love the first season. I think this show could directly affect events as well, and lead to bigger stakes. I wonder if I have an inkling feeling Loki's like gonna die in this season. I don't know what something tells me, because he's had such a good run until now. Maybe he does something where like he has to like sacrifice himself for the greater good of the sacred timeline. Um,
Mm,
and Sylvie too. Like I wonder what's gonna happen with her as well, because she was such a
mm,
fan favorite character. Because I think she was supposed to be Enchantress originally, but they kind of made her like a variant
right.
of Loki too. She's a great character. I hope she comes back for season 2 and for other properties as well. But I'm excited for that
Mm,
show. That's a great show in my opinion. But we also have, of course, the Marvels coming up. So other returns as well. That'll be coming out July, I believe, 29th of next year. So we saw a little bit tease of that in Miss
July
Marvel. I'm
28th.
sorry,
Yeah.
28th. So yeah, we saw a
Yeah.
little bit tease of that at the end of Miss Marvel. So there's a little bit of the premise is gonna be, I don't know too much about the Marvels in the comics. But for this rendition, we have Kamala Khan, Brie Larson's Captain Marvel, and Monica Rambeau. What do you think is gonna happen in this show?
Well, first and foremost, it's great to see Monica Rambeau again. I mean, there you go. I mean, I've been wondering, like, I can't wait to see her MCU costume. I think she plays Photon or something like that, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, dude, because it's a musical. That's what I heard. It's rumored, so I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
I'm
we get
confused.
that, but we don't get an actual like Rogers the musical. Like,
Tell me about it. I know we have to complain to Marvel. Yeah, I don't know. Like, is it heavily involving Kree? Um, oh well, yeah, it's weird, dude, because Miss Marvel now is a mutant, right? Not an Inhuman. So, like, okay, right? I know. Here's my thing. Perhaps it's going to involve something to do with Shang-Chi. Not Shang-Chi being involved directly, but like, because we had so many end credits with Miss Marvel. I mean, Captain Marvel, and Shang-Chi. Now Miss Marvel, right? You have the Nega bands. You have the Ten Rings, so I think that that's gonna be like pretty. It's everything will clash together. Um, but again, it's a musical, so I don't know. I
This is
don't
a
know.
musical movie, correct? Not a TV series, right?
Yeah, no, and again, I from the rumors I've seen, it's a musical movie. I hope it isn't though. I hope that I'm wrong.
I hope
Yeah,
you're wrong
that's gonna be
too.
so annoying.
um, yeah, not much to say on it. Because they didn't really give much on it. Um, yeah, I would love to see
Mm,
Monica Rambeau back. I wonder if this will also deal with the scrolls as well, or if this is more like a celestial thing. Because we don't know what's happening with the Eternals either, because they kind of like dipped after the end of that credit. So I don't know what's happening with them,
right.
but knowing it's Captain Marvel, it's gonna be like a cosmic thing. But I don't know. I really can't say anything for now until we get more concrete details. But moving on from that, speaking of Eternals, at the end of Eternals, we got Blade teased at the end of that. So that will be coming out November 3rd of 2023. Um, and we'll also be getting Mahershala Ali as the title or characters.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. I think he's gonna nail the role, and open up a more darker side of Marvel. I don't know if this is gonna be like what the rating is gonna be. Is this gonna be like more PG-13? Is it gonna be like more darker, like maybe like Morbius? But what do you feel for this movie?
Well, I loved Blade's first appearance at like the later episodes of Resident Evil. I thought that he was really compelling character of Resident Evil. Um, no, okay. So here's the thing. By the way, guys, we're going to do a review for Prey, and it's going to be on Disney Plus, which Prey is I think rated
I thought it was
R.
gonna be
It
on
makes
Hulu.
sense for it to be rated R. It's gonna be on Hulu. Apparently, it was, but then they started to market it as only available on Disney Plus. So that's really weird. Anyway, Disney owns Hulu, so that's I'm thinking, right, because Logan is on Disney Plus now. So I'm thinking this is their way of changing the MCU more for like it's a mix of like mature audiences and younger audiences like Miss Marvel, and now you have mature audiences, right? You just introduced Prey, Logan. So I have a feeling Blade will be rated R. I have a good feeling it will be because a lot of people say, well, what about Deadpool? Will Deadpool ever show up? Well, they haven't really announced anything for X-Men,
Well, like
but I bet my money Deadpool will show up in one of
the
these
movie is
phases.
now on Disney
I bet my
Plus.
money
They
on it.
did, I think,
Right.
move it towards it. So yeah, I agree with you. I think they're slowly transitioning to more mature audiences. They kind of started down that road, I would say, with Moon Knight, but not
Mm,
really.
right.
But yeah, it's weird because it's like you could make this just strictly for like mature audiences and just have it like as a parental guidance thing. I think if you really want to,
Mm.
pool your demographic, like because Miss Marvel obviously was intended for kids or at least younger audiences, right? The Avengers is kind of like that gray area, what's kind of like younger but not like totally like older. So I feel like this movie, I don't think it's gonna be on the level that we saw with Wesley Snipes' Blade. I think it's definitely gonna be diluted. But it could be interesting. It could be really interesting. I think I have a feeling I really want this to open up the Midnight Suns kind of like team with Ghost Rider and perhaps
Oh.
Punisher as well. But yeah. Any
Hmm.
more thoughts that you have on it?
Yeah, so Anthony Starr apparently was rumored to play Dracula
Oh
in
wow.
this, so that looks like the big bad in Blade. Um, Again, it's a rumor, but it makes sense for Dracula to make an appearance. I also, you mentioned earlier, there's no talk about Eternals. There's no talk about a lot of things. Again, it's probably going to be revealed at later dates. Like Moon Knight probably should have a season 2, right? So we'll probably get one. But I think for Blade, I think maybe Black Knight
Oh yeah, that's
can be
right.
involved or like
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, and that kind of like ties in a little bit with Eternals. Like, oh, now Eternals.
And Werewolf by Night
So we
too,
still have to
because we
see
never got
that.
any mention of that either.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because that was supposed to be like a Halloween special. So now we gotta like wait. I don't know. That's really it's strange. I think they're just trying to like post the most important stuff. And like you said earlier, you made a great point. They're not revealing stuff they still want to flesh out, right? So
Yeah,
yeah.
because I think for now they're just showing off the things that they've developed. But I think for some properties like Armor Wars, we never got anything on Armor. We don't know what's happening with that. It's been like how
I
many
know.
phases or movies now since that was announced.
Right.
I think as far back as like season or phase 3 or 2 that was announced. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think some of these properties they're still trying to find like directors for. Um, but also speaking of which, Ironheart. So we were talking about that in the Black Panther trailer. So she is getting her own. I believe it's a spin-off series on Disney Plus.
Correct.
So yeah, tell me what are your predictions for this show?
Yeah, well, again, she's gonna be in. So Dominique Thorne plays Riri Williams, aka Ironheart, in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. So I think that she's probably going to be really compelling in Black Panther to warrant her own television series. I wonder if Don Cheadle's Rhodey is going to be involved as well, and perhaps that will lead into Armor Wars a little later on once they flesh out everything. I don't know her comic book origin that well. I know that she, again, was a very big fan of Iron Man, and she basically built her own suit the same way Tony Stark did, not in a cave, but like through scraps and stuff like that. So she
With a
has
box of
talent. I
scraps.
wonder if Rhodey has to yell at her. It builds character. I wonder if the kid from Iron Man 3 that showed up at the
Ah,
Endgame funeral will also be involved. I always thought, what if he's Iron Lad or something,
that's
like
so
they
stupid.
redesigned it so
Iron
like
Man.
he's Iron Lad. Well, because you also have the Young Avengers, right? And then so we have Wiccan and we have the other speedster, that is Scarlet Witch's like fake son, because she was having imaginary friends. She didn't need to kill those people, but like they're a part of the Young Avengers. So I wonder if like that kind of sets up anything. Like, and again, it's the MCU is kind of evolving for like younger audiences, and if it's, I mean, younger actors, and if it's not younger actors, it's new actors that haven't been involved with the
Mhm.
MCU. So yeah, I don't know
That's
what you
so
think
true.
about it,
I
though.
think I think I think the Young Avengers is definitely gonna be a setup because we already have Kamala. Look at her; she's basically like she
Mm.
was inspired by Captain Marvel, so it could be like a similar situation where Riri is inspired by like Tony, and she kind of like develops her own suit. I wonder if we'll see like any of the Iron Man original cast, like you said, like Rhodey or Happy or even Pepper and Tony's daughter as well. It could be interesting, like seeing
Oh
that
yeah,
kid also, because we only got to see him like in like 2 movies. Um, and but yeah, will
yeah.
this also lead to Armor Wars as well? Because we haven't had much like Iron Man like content in a while, other than like you'd say like maybe Spider Man. But we don't know what's happening with Stark right now. Like, what's the deal with Stark Industries?
Exactly. Yes, that's a great point that you brought that up. Nobody has thought about that, and I promise you, I bet all of you $1,000. Riri is gonna take over
Don't bet
Stark
with Akram.
Industries.
you
I win. I no no no. I bet it makes it. She's kind of like Shuri, right? Like she'll probably like she manages a lot of tech things and stuff. She'll probably like take over Stark Industries. Maybe it's a fight at first. Like Pepper is like really tired of fighting with the military. That they want to take over Stark Industries, and Rhodey's like trying to hold the military off, right? Or maybe Rhodey is the antagonist. I don't know. It's gonna be really weird, really, really, complex. But I have a feeling Riri, in the comics that J.J. Abrams wrote a long time ago, like a Peter Parker thing, when he's old, Riri is actually there, and she's like in charge of like a lot of stuff from Stark Industries. So it kind of makes sense.
But
I
that
can see
that had
that.
to be a while though, because she's a kid in Black Panther. And so unless they do like an age jump or time jump or something like that, it'd be like
No, she's probably like 20 something
probably I
there.
don't know. But yeah, that could be interesting. Honestly, yeah, that could be
Yeah.
interesting. Really, because it's like because we also have damage control because they're still trying to keep a lock on
Mm-hmm.
the superhuman community. The Sokovia Accords is still like a
Yep.
thing now, so they're still trying to like
I
limit
guess.
like superhuman involvement. So that, yeah, that I could see that something like that happening. Like you have to think of like it's like the what are the bigger stakes, like you've always said, like what is the bigger contribution to the MCU, right? So it's like
Right.
I
Right.
feel like this could have an impact on the bigger MCU, like what's gonna happen with Stark Industry. What is the future of Stark Industries, like now that Tony's not involved, right?
Yep.
Because Spider-Man's kind of like doing
Yep.
his own thing. Nobody knows who the fuck he is anymore. So it's like
He's getting paid off by
right. So
Sony. What
yeah,
do you think?
we'll had to like switch jobs with different franchises.
Shit.
But moving on from that, we have a few properties left to talk about Marvel. Agatha, Coven of Chaos, that'll be coming in winter of, they said 23, 24. So I don't know which one is going to be. I don't know if they flesh it out yet to give a concrete date. Because this is just a spin-off character from WandaVision. I don't. I don't know why they even gave her a
Right.
spinoff, to be honest. I didn't think she was that great of a character to deserve a spinoff. Other people feel differently,
I
how do
liked
you feel?
her. I think that what you could do with her is you could put the theme about trauma. Like, I think that I could still see that. I think Wanda and her have a lot in common. I think that Wanda like suffers her own traumas, and I feel like with Agatha, you could talk a lot about her own trauma, like from her past. Like you could bring that up, and you could make it more of a nuanced character, and she could be an anti-hero. And I think that's really interesting because anti-heroes are so
Mhm.
complex.
That's true. I have a feeling it could.
Plus magic.
Yeah, well, yeah. As far as the magic thing, because well, I mean, we also have the ending in Doctor Strange kind of tease Charlize Theron's character. Uh,
Oh
but yeah, we
yeah.
haven't had too many as far as like Doctor Strange, like just like magic wielding characters. I have a feeling Agatha might lead to Mephisto because they didn't do it in WandaVision. I feel like this would be the show to do it.
Mm,
What do you think?
you are correct. Yes, I
Mark
think
my
so. That makes
words.
sense for him to show
read
up there.
read my lips, guy.
Mark my words.
Yeah, I mean that can make sense. I because
Yeah.
Mephisto's kind of been like this like teased character, and he's been like a huge
Right.
villain in Marvel comics. So I don't know why they've been like holding him back till now. Unless they do, I hope they do him justice. I hope they don't nerf him and do like a Dormammu thing where he's kind of like a throwaway villain. Because he is like
Mm,
on almost like a Thanos level like threat sometimes. But yeah, we'll have to see for that. But this one, we gotta talk about this one. Akram and I
yes.
fucking creamed our pants when we saw this. uh
Ah,
well, because we're such devout followers of Daredevil, and we did a whole Defenders
yeah.
Revisited episode, so you guys want to check that out as well. Great discussion. But yeah, Daredevil is of course making an appearance in She-Hulk, but he's also getting his own 18 episode spin. I couldn't believe that number when I saw that. I had to like correct my lens. I was like, eight, holy shit, that's like almost 20 episodes. I was like, wow. I was like, I hope these
That's
aren't
crazy.
like CW like quality like episodes, or like they're like
Mm,
25-minute episodes. Like yeah, I hope they do justice for Charlie, because I don't want this to be like a diluted series. But yeah, tell me what are your thoughts for seeing, and the costume was teased also in She-Hulk. He has the yellow
right.
and red costume, which I have a feeling they did that because to disassociate him from, because at the end of season 3 of Daredevil, um he was kind of like he was in the bad public eye because of Bullseye. So I think he wants to disassociate with that costume, the red and black one with the gold one. So what are your predictions?
For sure. I wonder if he'll still have the yellow and red costume in Echo, because I think they're gonna use him there as well. I think to warrant 18 episodes, it's like Kevin Feige and John Favreau said, like before you show a cameo, you have to have the story, bring the character out, or kind of summon the character. It needs to be earned. So I think 18 episodes are earned enough because Daredevil season 1 to 3 were phenomenal, and they were like pinnacle, like Netflix MCU. I think, yeah, for sure. I think I don't know who the main villain can be, unless it's like it's a thing where they mix in Wilson Fisk and they also mix in Bullseye. Because I've been waiting for like a proper MCU costume for Bullseye and like for him to go wild. I think now that the MCU is like a little bit leaning towards more mature ratings, probably this is going to be TVMA, and I think you should make it TVMA. Um, Now I heard that Foggy, the actor from Foggy and Karen, most likely will show up. I hope so. And what happened for Elektra too? Like Elektra's dead, but like, are they gonna bring her back somehow? Because I feel like Elektra is a strong female character they could probably bring in the future as well. Like I could imagine her own
Mhm.
show, Elektra. You know, so like there's so much you could do with it, and at the same time too, it's the Defenders, and that's 18 episodes. So I'm wondering, like, would there be some mentions of like Danny Rand
Jessica,
or I was to say
Luke,
Hulk by
yeah.
accident,
Hmm.
Punisher, Jessica
Yeah,
Jones. Jessica would be interesting.
it's an interesting reboot to think about. I I I think Kevin really wants to respect the fans of the Netflix series, and do this character justice, reintroducing him into the MCU, because he, I mean, he technically was part of the MCU But it just wasn't. I don't know those stories. That it's kind of like I think of it like Legends and Star Wars. It was there, but it wasn't like part of the main canon. So I think now they're
Mhm.
officially bringing him because he wasn't in Spider-Man No Way Home. So he is part of this world now. But I think they want to concrete it. I don't want it to be like a rehash of Daredevil, like the first three series, because that was basically like just him and Fisk. I could see Fisk back. I hope he does make an appearance. Especially like finding out what happened after Echo or Hawkeye. Sorry. I could see Bullseye coming back. I did like that actor who played Dexter, and they kind of teased him at the end of this third season. So maybe he'll have like a costume or something closely resembling to his character
Yeah.
in the comics too. That could be interesting. I could see that. Oh yeah, yeah. Like you said, like what's this? Does this show explore like what's the status of the Defenders or even like some other villains as well? Like the Hand. Like we never saw like what happened with them. Or Bakudo.
Or
Yeah,
Bakudo.
mark my words, he's gonna be the villain of Daredevil.
Don't
He's
you
gonna
wanna
have the
bow to
iPad
your
and everything.
essay?
No head, but an iPad.
Oh. His iPad for a
But
head?
yeah, this could be really interesting. I'm glad that they decided to give him a reboot. I think the fans have been wanting that for a long time, and of course, like why not? It's like more
Oh
money
god,
on
yes.
Disney's part, right? So yeah, I'm excited.
Right.
I would love to do 18 reviews
Me
for that.
too.
I'll watch every single one. I just hope it doesn't get like
Hell yeah.
dry in like the first, or I hope it doesn't like get exciting in the first half and then dry like towards the end. Um, because they
Right.
Marvel does have a tendency sometimes to like be exciting and then sometimes it dies down. It's like a candle.
Yeah.
But yeah, two more properties to talk about. Captain America: New World Order. That'll be coming May 3rd of 2024. So that's kind of a
Mm.
direct spin-off from Falcon and Winter Soldier. We'll see Anthony Mackie back as Captain America now. Will Sebastian Stan return as Bucky? What do you think, Akram?
Yeah. I think they could have did like I think he had like other monikers as well in the comics, but yeah, I think so. Again, the whole point was it's not the Winter Soldier now; it's like just Bucky Barnes or something. I wonder if they're going to change his name or give him a new like thing. Um, I also want to see like I wonder if because Chris Evans has been kind of rumored to like make an appearance again. I wonder if he will make an appearance. I think that'll be pretty decent. I think so, and it's a movie, right? So it's like pretty big for Chris Evans to return, in some shape, way, or form. Yeah, I can't wait to see like some costume redesigns as well. I love Captain America. I just love whoever's Captain America. I'm always down for it. They represent so much too. It's a really important character. And I wonder what the political notions will be. I wonder who the main villain will be too. I'm not. I think it's just gonna be main like Steve Rogers like villains. I'm not really sure. Also, the guy who was like kind of like a sidekick in the military to Sam. I forgot
Oh
his name,
yeah,
but he actually plays. Yeah, he plays Falcon in the comics.
he
I mean,
got the
he's
wings
supposed
at
to
the
be
end of
Falcon in the
the
comics.
show,
So
I
I
think,
wonder if
right?
he'll get his
Like
own suit.
yeah, like Sam gave him the
Yeah.
wings. Yeah, so we
Yep.
could see him.
Yep.
He'll be the new Falcon, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I have
Yep.
some thoughts on it. Nothing concrete yet. Um, but yeah, this will definitely open up. I think like the new side of Marvel. Like everybody's becoming like the more modern renditions of the characters now, and I'd love to see like
Right.
Sam Beck is like. I wonder too like who the main villain will be because like Zemo and uh John Walker kind of like split from the show. I think they're probably gonna be. We'll talk about Thunderbolts in a minute, but yeah, I think like it could go any number of ways. Oh, we forgot Sharon Carter at the end.
Right.
She influenced Congress, and she was kind of like selling weapons and shit. So she could be. I could see her as a villain for this movie. Um, but yeah, I guess segueing from that, Thunderbolts. It's gonna
Yeah.
cap off Phase 5. I have some thoughts on it, but I want to hear what you think about it.
Well, they say Kevin said that all shows influence the movies somehow, and the movies have influenced the shows. I have a feeling that Daredevil Born Again will kind of influence Thunderbolts. And Captain America: The New World Order will kind of do the same thing to influence that. If that's really capping off Phase 5, I doubt it though, because we still have a lot to be introduced. I mean, we still have Doctor Strange, who maybe will be Phase 6. I don't know. There's so much to introduce still to this timeline. Um, yeah, I don't know much about the Thunderbolts. I do know certain characters. So that's why I'm saying maybe Daredevil, Born Again will kind of like influence it. But
Well, the
yeah, tell us your
Thunderbolts are
thoughts.
basically Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad. They're kind of like these rebranded
Mm.
villains who became like heroes. I think it started off with Baron Zemo. He kind of like reformed the Masters of Evil into like these more heroes when Civil War and then all these events like when the Avengers weren't available and stuff. So they kind of like deal with these bigger threats. Well, my favorite version of them was Norman Osborn's Avengers, the Dark Avengers, Thunderbolts. And this is why I think it'll tie in great with Secret Invasion too, because Norman Osborn took over the Thunderbolts and kind of like made them his like personal assassins. But I don't think they're gonna go that route because we haven't seen anything relating to Norman Osborn. So I think this is gonna be Zemo's Thunderbolts. And it makes sense because the character is still active in the MCU. I think John Walker will also be part of this version too. I think he was actually part of one version of Thunderbolts. But it makes me wonder like how many.
Hmm.
It makes me think like how many villains are left like alive in the MCU that weren't like killed off. I guess you could say Abomination because he is in She-Hulk. But they could go any number of ways too. But
Mm.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see. That'll be like I said, July. Uh, is that 26 of 2024?
July
I'm sorry,
28th,
28.
2024. And before we move on, I just want to make a quick mention of some shows that aren't on a timeline but are still coming out. Like one of our first series that we reviewed, What If Season 2, they showed a little bit of like an image there with Captain Carter and some of the original members of the Avengers. Also, Marvel Zombies. That's going to be actually the first like TVMA property for the MCU. That's actually going to be adults only. So that's crazy. I can't wait for that. Apparently, it's going to be gory. We're going to see Shang-Chi, like all the characters that were introduced. Haley
Ooh.
Steinfeld is going to voice again. And then we also have, obviously, we have She-Hulk that I can't wait to do the review about that. I Am Groot. And yeah, I'm X-Men, which is not really canonical. It's kind of like an adaptation of the original X-Men series. So X-Men 90,
Hmm.
what is it, 98, 94? I think it's coming out as well. I mean, that's cool. I can't wait to see that as well. And you have Spider-Man freshman year. That's awesome. I have some thoughts about that. That's a weird one because I don't think that's canonical. I don't know what you think, but what they showed
It's very
doesn't seem canonical
strange.
whatsoever.
Yeah,
It's like a new
it's not.
take
It's
on.
not. Well,
Yeah,
it's weird because he has the suit from Homecoming, like the original, like the makeshift suit, but he
right.
has like a lot of characters from the comics that were never introduced in the films, which makes me wonder like is this like a soft reboot? Yeah, it's really strange. I think it's like a very MCU inspired show, but it doesn't take place in the actual canon.
Right.
But yeah, we like X-Men
Yeah.
98 as well. Is it 98?
Yeah.
98.
Yeah, I think
That'll be
so. Yeah.
interesting. It's a revamp of the old series. Um, yeah, I think Marvel's in a good direction right now. I think having this showcase really set a lot of fans at ease because I think a lot of fans have kind of had their doubts with the last couple movies as far as like where the direction of this phase is going, but I think it's promising. But like I said, we'll have to see. I think some of them will be hit and misses, obviously. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, and I'm excited for Phase 6, which is the future, which is starting off November 8th, 2024. Dylan, by that time, will be at least 37. It's
I
going
don't
to
even know
be
if I'll be on this
Fantastic Four
podcast by then.
in
But
2024.
I'll probably have my replacement swapped. Yeah.
Get Jerome. Jerome, you gotta join us. Yeah. What do you think about that? I mean, it's very like we don't know much. I mean, obviously John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic was great, the costume redesign, but apparently they're trying to introduce some characters and also recast certain other characters as
Yeah,
well. So
well,
what do you
I
think?
love Krasinski as Reed Richards. I think he did great in Multiverse of Madness. Will it be the same Reed Richards though? I don't know because that could have been a variant of Reed Richards. But it'd be great. I it kind of sucks that we have to wait that long to get introduced to the FF. Because there's
Mm,
such like I think pivotal, like one of the most pivotal hero teams in Marvel. So I don't know why they would hold off that long unless they're still trying to figure out. Like I said, like a director, like who's gonna like will we see Doctor Doom? That's the big question. Or some, or maybe a nihilist, one of the other villains, because Fantastic Four actually has a lot of great villains actually. Jason Segel was
right.
rumored to be the thing. It's speculation for now, but I really feel like that's gonna be legit. I haven't heard anything about like what's gonna be like the Storm twins, like who's playing Sue and Johnny. I would love Taron Egerton to play
Mm,
Human Torch. I think a lot of people have also fan casted the dude who plays Havoc in the X-Men series too. But yeah, I just want
right.
Spider-Man and Human Torch to have like a bromance. That's all I care about. But what are your
Yeah,
what are
me
your
too.
predictions for FF?
Well, I thought John Watts was going to direct it, but I think he pulled out. Um, we don't have much X-Men content there, but I think that's going to be fleshed out. That's like to avoid spoilers. Um, yeah, there's a lot. I hope we see Herbie. I hope they're like really like influenced by the comics this time, like sticking true. Um, I think it's gonna have like the similar type of tone. If you're canceling, if you're, I'll say if you're canceling Jason Segel, if you're bringing in Jason Segel, then it's probably going to have more of like that kind of campy, but yet like dramatic, very dramatic at times. Notions, just like Spider-Man,
Hmm.
the Spider-Man films were. But yeah, enough with that. Because we have no info on that, and apparently fall 2024, winter 2024 is pretty empty. All the way up to May 2nd, 2025. This is really cool because we're getting two Avengers films. In 2025. So we're basically getting Avengers the Kang Dynasty. I guess is basically everything led up to this moment with Kang. Kang has been appearing in probably multiple properties. So tell us your thoughts on the Kang
Yeah, I
Dynasty.
think this will be the culmination of what Kevin Feige has dubbed the multiverse saga, um, dealing with everything happening in these
Right.
very multiversal movies. Yeah, well, obviously Kang is going to be probably the direct antagonist, or at least influence on this movie. So I wonder what storyline they're gonna pick because Kang has a lot of great storylines where like he goes back in time and tries to like sometimes he's a hero, sometimes he's a villain mostly, but it could be interesting. I wonder if like the timeline will be so fucked that they have to actually like have Kang fix it to reset the timeline. Like something happens.
Mm,
Maybe like what imagine like what if we'll see like some of the what if characters make an appearance because we did kind of see some like Captain Carter was
hmm
in Doctor Strange too. Um and I mean the Avengers themselves, I don't know who's left. I mean Falcon's gonna be Cap, obviously, Bucky back. Wanda's dead. I mean, I can't remember like Vision's dead, so it's like we can't have Vision. So it's like who's left? I think that's why they're setting up all these younger actors because it's gonna be like the next gen of the Avengers, like the maybe the yeah like the young Avengers maybe. Don't know what like where Spider Man's at too with Sony. Um, it's a it's a
mm.
it's an interesting theory. I don't know until I see more of like Phase 5. I can't make any sound predictions for this movie. Um, unless you have any thoughts
Right.
on yourself, I'm like, we'll see.
No, yeah, you completely said it. I think it's going to lead to. I mean, again, there's like a lot of blank spaces here. Obviously, they don't want to reveal everything, but I think it's going to influence Avengers Secret Wars. And me and you were having a debate earlier of which Secret Wars will they adapt because there's two. There's the one where Spider-Man gets a symbiote, and there's the one where Doctor Doom tried to screw everyone and mix multiverses and have them fight like in gladiatorial pits and stuff like that. I think it might be the latter, the 2015 version. But give us your thoughts on what you think might happen in
Well,
Secret
until we
Wars.
get Doctor Doom, I don't know if we'll get that. I think it's more sound to have Spider Man's symbiote introduced into this, and this is how we get the black suit.
Mm.
because we did get it kind of teased at the end of No Way Home with the Venom drop that was left. But it'll be weird like how they introduce in this one. I think I don't know. Maybe Kang is also a direct villain for this too, because in the comics, I think his name was the Beyonder. Set up this big like event with the heroes and villains, and I think it'll be interesting. Like as far as the multiverse now, we don't have to have just heroes and villains that are alive. We could pull them from different timelines. So what if we saw Iron Man back, like Tony Stark's Iron Man, or like yeah, like
Ooh, that'll
original
be
Cap,
great.
like the original Avengers back, like they pulled the entire like original Avengers. That would be super awesome. I'd love to see that. That'd be like a
I
great
can
move
see
on
that.
Marvel's point to
Mhm.
get some of the old cast back. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people have some theories on it. In the next couple years, but I can't wait. But yeah, I really think it's gonna be. I think the end. I think the end credit of that movie will probably be Spider-Man getting the symbiote. What? Mark my word. um,
I
right.
should spit on you if you're wrong.
But I think that covers all the Marvel stuff, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
Yeah, it did. Yeah, so that's all the Marvel stuff, guys. Yeah, it was a lot that was revealed. We stayed up really late
shit.
just catching up on everything, and it was lovely. Again, for me, the Black Panther
Biggest
thing
takeaway
was
for me.
like
Yeah.
such a highlight.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're
So,
gonna have a lot of great content
yeah,
for you guys in the next couple
me
years, so
too.
stick around for that. Marvel's a great opportunity, for the fans to come together. But moving on from that, of course, we also have DC. Not as big as Marvel, obviously. We only had
Mhm.
like two like big reveals. So yeah, let's start off, I guess, with I'm gonna start with Black Adam. I knew he
It's
was gonna
about
say
drive. It's
that.
about power. We stay hungry with the power. That was great. Look, dude, let me tell you something. That guy and that suit looks so good because there's no muscle padding. It's like it's the most comic booky suit that fitted on somebody I've ever seen in my life because everything is
He even
either
came out on
pads or
stage too,
CGI.
right?
And
Like
he
wearing the
showed up
costume.
there.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yes. Yeah, he owned that stage. That was awesome. I love that. Not much. I mean, we already know the deal about Black Adam that's going to release soon, and we'll have a review for you guys pretty soon. I can't wait to see
Yes,
Doctor
Pierce
Fate
Brosnan.
and their interpretation of Doctor Fate. Pierce Brosnan, right? I already, you guys know, I already just pre-ordered all the
Mhm.
figures for Black Adam, so I'm set. I mean, are you a big fan of like Black Adam and Shazam in general, or
Shazam,
like,
I
are you
like.
excited?
Black Adam, he's kind of like the Namor of DC in a way. It's funny because they look so similar too.
That's
Yeah, he's
true.
kind of like an anti-hero, right? It's
That's
like
a great, yeah,
some comics he's like
right.
super fucking evil, but then there's some comics where like he's actually like on like the
Mm.
Justice League's like side. So yeah, it's interesting. I think Marvel, I mean not Marvel, DC. I'm sorry. I think they do their villains justice. I think they tend to make the villains more interesting than the heroes sometimes,
Mm.
like at Suicide Squad. Um, but then again, I have a big feeling this movie's gonna be mid. I don't know why something, because like who's gonna be the villain then if it's not Black Adam unless he fights Doctor Fate, but Doctor Fate's like a good guy, so
No. It looks like a society, like
maybe.
some type of organization rather than a singular villain. I know
Oh
Amanda
really?
Waller will show up.
Hmm.
She's like Nick
Yeah.
Fury
Does this
now
take
of
place
like the
in like
DCEU.
the modern
Um,
DC timeline, or is this like before?
yeah. No, no, no. Well, the DCEU, I think they have to follow strict guidelines, just because their timeline, I mean, their universe is so fucked up at the moment. So
Hmm.
it's like one after the other. Whereas the MCU, it's like every day you kind of figure out where characters have been. Here, it's like, yeah, you can't really
Hmm.
go back unless if you're like Wonder Woman. Um, so yeah, I don't think, I don't know if the stakes are going to be really high. I think it's just going to introduce a younger team, and also Black Adam, and he also has his own territory, which is cool to introduce that in the DCEU. Speaking of the DCEU, we didn't have a trailer for The Flash, which I'm disappointed in. I was expecting Ezra Miller to show
For
up and start
spitting on
yelling at
people.
people. I think that would have been the most. Yeah, like, fuck you! What are you doing here? But Dylan and I loved reviewing Peacemaker season 1, and unfortunately, there were no updates on Peacemaker season 2. Um, Yeah, it was pretty mid, as Dylan says, like the DCEU stuff. But we did get Shazam: Fury of the Gods, the trailer for that. It looks really fun. I don't know the villains too much. What are your thoughts on Shazam:
I'm not
Fury of
like
the
a
Gods?
huge Shazam like lore enthusiast, but yeah, the it looks fun in our hometown Philly. It'll be fun to see like some great locations. That's
Yeah.
why the only gripe I had with the first movie was the septa buses look way too clean. I was like, they fucking lying to our faces, like did that shit. Like if you're from Philly, you know that was a they probably like did some stagecraft shit with that shit. I was like, they straight lying. No, but it looks great. I think it is a little
Yeah.
corny having the whole family be like Shazam. They're kind of like the Power Rangers now. I thought that was a little cheesy. Because like, why have
Mm.
Shazam then, right?
Mm.
But
Yeah, I
Astro
guess.
Angel, dude, he's fucking like he hit puberty fast. I was like shit. I don't know like what the time jump of this movie is, but he looks like he went from like 12 to like 18 in like a year or some shit. So it looks kind of weird, but I love their dynamic. I love the older actor and Ash Ranger. I think they make a great
Zachary
pair.
Levi
It's
is
gonna be
great.
funny.
Yeah.
I think it's a movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, like a Justice League movie. So you can have kind of have fun with it.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and the villains,
Right.
I don't know. They kind of look like mid in my opinion. I don't know what's the say. I don't know. Villains now, like it's like oh, okay, well if they're not Thanos, that's like what are they gonna offer, right? But I don't know. It looks playful. I'll watch it
Mm.
definitely. But yeah, that's as far as we can go with
Yeah.
DC because they didn't really like they. There's so many missed opportunities for DC. I don't know why they wouldn't showcase like some of Blue Beetle
Really.
because we saw some of Blue Beetle's like costume. Um, what's
That's
going on with
true. Right.
like Aquaman? Yeah, Aquaman. Like
Aquaman.
especially after the Amber case, like what's going on with that? You know, it's just something to like update the fans. I think that was such a missed opportunity on DC's part.
Oh, yeah.
Back or yeah.
Batgirl, like that. Yeah, absolutely. They could have showed like maybe a logo for the Batman, even if they said that they're gonna start working on the Batman too. They could have showed like a logo, you know, just like the MCU. That like at least do the
Mhm.
same thing that that Marvel does, like to get fans excited. And we all know that it's fucked up, but like at least show something or
Un-
indication of we're getting back on
Unless
track. You
they're
know, we're gonna
saving it
make
for
this.
DC fandom, which I
Yeah.
think they might do.
When is that? I hope
Shit.
it's not December.
I don't-
We're gonna be really busy. At DC fandom comes back in December. Yeah, probably. That's like a long time from now. I'm like, I would have just showed some more trailers of like at least the Flash, but I guess you know it's just all the actors they hire. Like a lot of them have like issues or something, and some of them have dependencies on Lao Ma. So I don't know. You know,
yeah, man.
it's a heavy situation.
Yeah, I really feel like that's why they held off on the Flash, just because this shit that's going on with Ezra. I think they're trying to recast him right now. I'm telling you, Jack Quaid is the Flash, and
Ooh.
Akram like has agreed with me. Akram, you said you want him as Wally West. I think he'd make a great Barry Allen. But yeah, listen to our words, DC. Right, take note.
Yeah,
Right.
take notes. You need us. We're the only ones supporting you.
um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna go on with DC. Honestly, it's a mixed bag. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like hit or miss. It's like Suicide
Mm.
Squad was good, but like Justice League was mid. I mean, you watched the Snyder cut. I didn't. I didn't think it was worth my time, honestly. Um, but who knows? Who knows?
Mm.
I have a hope that they'll come back, right? Uh, yeah.
I do. I agree.
But
Yeah.
moving on.
So
Yeah,
let's
other
talk about
stuff that well, what that didn't come out at
yeah.
San Diego, but there's been some other properties coming out too. So I'm a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. Love the Peter Jackson movies. Read some of the books. So the new series, The Rings of Power, will be showcasing on Amazon Prime, and I'm actually happy about that. I think Amazon Prime does a great work with their shows. Obviously, look at the boys and some of the other content. So yeah, we got a trailer, and this takes place. This is a soft reboot, or I'm sorry, soft prequel of the movies. It's kind of confusing. I can understand why some people are a bit confused on that. But yeah, this takes place during the second age of Lord of the Rings. So this is gonna be focused on like Sauron and like his rise to power. But yeah, it looks really good. Akram told me this is the most expensively made show. Uh, like ever. So what was the figure? It was like 14 or
Like
shit,
430
numbers I'll never
million.
see in my life. Right.
That's really
Yeah, that makes me
expensive.
wonder, like, what was so expensive
Yeah.
about it?
Well, when I search how many episodes it'll have, it said 8, and then I saw somewhere else it said 18, and on IMDb I saw it showed like 8, but then there's a season 2 and it showed just 1 episode. So I feel like they're like shooting so much and so little time to like have a subsequent season like as fast as possible. Like, and the CGI there, I mean, it looked huge and it looked super good. I mean, I kind of consider this show to be akin to the Transformers series, where you're introducing a younger audience at the same time trying to fix some problems that maybe the series had in the past or some gripes that people may had had. Um, yeah, it's a weird situation because like the game Shadow of Mordor also is
And
like
yeah. Mhm.
apparently canonical, so I guess not anymore. It's weird, but I'm excited though. I can't wait to do a review for it. I'm not a huge fan of Lord of the Rings, but I'm excited to get down. I love seeing a younger
Sauron.
Sauron.
Yeah,
Sauron.
like
I'm
a huge
excited.
like fantasy guy, so I really
So,
appreciate this show like coming because we haven't had like I remember like
mm,
back in the day, like in the early 2000s, like Lord of the Rings was like one of the biggest like franchises next to like Harry Potter and Star Wars. So it's great to see the franchise make a
mm,
comeback. Since we haven't seen anything since the Hobbit prequels, and it's so funny that this is running in tangent to the new Game of Thrones series. It's like a one big buffet of like fantasy shows.
right.
But yeah, this could be really interesting. I think the costumes are great.
Mm.
The CGI looks great. So yeah, I can't wait to see this show and what's gonna offer and how fans will receive it. But moving on from that, what else do we have, Akram?
I am a
The
Walking Dead
biggest.
fan. I keep saying it to you guys, and you guys should respect me
He's
for
the
it.
only
I
one
spit
jerking
on
Robert
whoever
Kirkman
doesn't respect me.
off.
Shut up, bitch. No, I love Walking Dead. I read all the comics, and
You're the
we've
only
been
fan
waiting
left,
for a Rick
honestly. You're
movie.
the only fan left.
Andrew
That's
Lincoln. It doesn't matter, Dylan. Shut up. Andrew Lincoln apparently will make an appearance, and
that's it. That's all there is.
where's that?
Bye,
No,
guys. Have a nice day.
I'm trying to see the actress from Okoye. That's why. Well, what's the actress from Okoye?
Ah, I
I'm trying
forgot.
to
Yeah, I
look at
know.
my
Yeah,
cast
the
list here. I
one who
can't
plays
find
Michonne.
it for some
Yeah.
reason. Well, Michonne is going to
Denai
like come
Guru.
back,
I'm
right?
sorry.
She departed from the show, and yes, Denai Guerrera, I believe. Yeah, she's coming back. Andrew Lincoln is coming back, and so instead of there being a Rick movie,
Rick and
it's
Morty.
going to be Rick and Michonne, and it's going to Rick and Morty, right? And it's gonna like show what has Rick been up to. We did see that secret society, which kind of sucked in Walking Dead: The World Beyond. I wanted to see a little bit more, but I think that he was heavily involved with them. And it's great because we have Negan. We have the Isle of the Dead with Negan, Maggie. We have Tales of the Dead, which is coming up fairly soon, I think in August. We had the Carol and Daryl show got scrapped because the actress from Carol left, so now it's just Daryl. So I believe it's just going to be the Daryl show. And obviously we have the Fear the Walking Dead and the series finale for The Walking Dead. I wonder how that's going to end. I'm not going to say spoilers because I know how the comics end. Let me just say it should take place in the future. So I wonder if they're going to go down that route. But that makes everything else become prequels, which is a really strange territory to like place your show in. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I think it might be a mini series. We've seen a first poster for it. And I can't wait to see more of the Walking Dead future unfolded. It's hard because there's only so much you can do with introducing new casts to the show, because then you're just like showing evolution of like a character, kind of like Rick evolved, unless they do something different where it's like certain societies. I would love if they actually made a prequel, how it started. I know that Robert Kirkman, he's been like really shy about showing how the virus started. And now this is spoiler territory, guys. And The World Beyond, the end credit actually showed that the virus started in a type of 28 days fashion in a lab in France. And there were different sectors that tried to make this virus, and it leaked due to protesters. So I would like to see something along that lines of like scientists are the main characters, and there's protesters, the main characters, and there's just this clash. And I think it'll be really espionage and cool and bombastic too in a series finale for that, because then the walkers will come to life. I think it's going to be terrifying. So yeah, that's it for me for the Walking Dead stuff. I believe, Dylan,
Yeah,
that's
guys, I
it
don't
for
think you
both
have
of
to worry
us,
about
right?
prequel. I mean, spoilers. I think Akram's the only one watching Walking Dead. But I did
Shut
watch
up.
the trailer. It looked really interesting.
Shut
I
up.
fell off with Walking Dead for a while.
Right.
Yeah, they mentioned like the walkers are evolving. It took the last season for the walkers to evolve. I'm like, like how many seasons have they had? They're finally getting faster and they can open doors and shit. I was
Well, that
like, come
was
on now. Yeah, it's so
they speak
stupid.
Spanish. No, that was
They can vote.
that was in when the Whisperers, they could vote. They had to have rights. No, that was in the Whisperers, like showing that it's evolved. Again, I think the main part about Walking Dead is about the people. It could be boring to some, exciting to some others. I consider the walkers kind
Mm,
of like sharks in the water, and you're just trying to avoid them, and everyone's trying to grab onto a
mm.
life raft, right? And then you have that trouble. Um, but yeah, so guys, so I want to do a revisited for that. By the way, I want to do. I so after Walking Dead, I so
Listen,
want to
like,
do a
I'm not
revisited.
gonna
I think it'll be
rewatch
really
it.
cool. The background will be really cool.
I'll
I'll put you
That's
on
fine. You're the
mute.
only one
That's
watching
fine.
it anyway, so
Just be there.
you're gonna be
I put
leading
your
that.
picture. Well, guys, that has been our reaction to San Diego Comic-Con 2022. I'm sure this will be more revealed at a later date. We had a lot of fun talking to each other beforehand and talking to you guys about this. If you guys like this video, please leave a comment and tell us what you thought about it and tell us your predictions. If you're new to the channel, please check out our reviews. We're going to start reviewing a lot of stuff in August, so I can't wait for you guys to see that. Plenty of content, and as you could see, plenty of Marvel stuff as well. So Dylan,
Yeah, thank you
without
guys
further
so
ado,
much
please take us
for
away.
listening. I hope we can cover more events like this in the future. But yeah, season 4 is gonna be awesome. We have a lot of stuff planned for you guys. Our first 2 reviews are gonna be Nope and The Gray Man. So if you watched those recently, you'll want to check those out pretty soon. Please check us out on our socials, our Instagram, our YouTube, our Anchor page, and Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. We just got a Facebook page, so if you want to check it out. We're trying to build a community, and of course we have a TikTok if you want to check clips of our socials. So we're expanding as a podcast every day, but we can't do without you guys. So please, any support you can give us really helps our podcast grow every day. But we love you guys. Please, leave a comment, a like, anything to help the channel grow. But thank you guys again so much for listening, and until then, thank you for having lunch with us.
See you guys.